madness. So it's getting me. A lot. It's getting me a lot. I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. Oh, son of a. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. I'm just so nervous about everything now. I can't... Center yourself. That's what this game is gonna be now. Sorry. I was just bathing in the feeling of... Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do? You son of a biscuit. Again, I can look at it like... I can look at it when I'm editing, and I probably will. I'll probably try to find these moments and pause it so I can read. So you don't have to tell me in the comments or anything what it's saying, but it's like, oh my gosh, what are you inserting? I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. This is like too good an opportunity for them to do something mean to me, you know? Like, Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face and she's in the corner of my vision. I mean, she's right there. Hello, you're cute, I like you. Are you ready? Huh? To turn the page. Sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I'm also not the fastest of readers, so... I glance over Yuri's face again and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? Oh, and she even smiles a little bit. I can't even talk. The thing is, like, it's changing so much that it could change terribly. I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey, Yuri. This might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. No, I don't relate to this character at all. Definitely not. Really? She did say the book is really relatable. I was just thinking the way she second-guesses things she says and all that. That's what you were talking about. Sorry. I thought you meant something else about her. Something else? Never mind. We didn't even get that far yet. So I don't know why that came into my head. Yuri, are you feeling alright?
Huh?
Yuri's been a little fidgety ever since we started reading. You can rest if you're feeling sick or something. Your breathing is a little...
My breathing?
Yuri puts her hands on her chest as if to feel her heartbeat.
I didn't even notice. Anyway, I'm fine. I just need some water.
Alright, don't push yourself. Yuri stands up and practically rushes out of the classroom. What on earth was that about?
Riz? Did something happen just now?
Hmm? I have no idea. Yuri was acting a little strange, I guess.
So you don't know anything?
Sorry, I can't say I do. Are you worried about her?
Oh, no, not really. I was just making sure that you didn't do anything to her.
Nope, not at all. Nope. No, nothing.
Don't worry, I believe you, silly. Yuri just does this sometimes, so it's nothing alarming.
Alright, if you say so.
Anyway, why don't we start with sharing our poems with each other?
Huh? Shouldn't we wait for Yuri?
Well, she might be a while, so I just figured we'd get started without her.
Is that okay? Yeah, I was just asking. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book, then slip it back into my bag. Like, she's not even... I should start with Monica. Yesterday she seemed eager to read my poem, and I want her to know I'm putting in effort.
Hi, Riz. Hello, Monica. Having a good time so far?
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay?
Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in.
Anyway, want to share your poem with me?
It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to.
Don't worry, Riz. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon.
Yeah, that's true. I hand Monica my poem.
Great job, Riz. I was going ooh in my head while reading it.
Thank you.
It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you.
It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort.
That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. Or I guess it worked anyway, I don't know. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism? Sometimes I feel like Yuri's mind is just totally detached from reality. That's cool, that's pretty fun, yeah, that's neat. I don't mean that like it's a bad thing, though. But sometimes I get the impression that she's just totally given up on people. She spends so much time in her own head that it's probably a much more interesting place for her. But that's why she gets so happy when you treat her with a lot of kindness. I don't think she's used to being indulged like that. She must be really starved for social interaction, so don't blame her for coming on a little strongly. Like earlier. I think if she gets too stimulated, she ends up withdrawing and looking for alone time.
Suddenly, the door opens.
Yuri! I'm back. Did I miss anything? Not really. Well, we all started sharing our poems with each other. Already? I'm sorry for being late. No need to apologize. We still have plenty of time, so I'm more glad that you took all the time you needed. Alright. Thanks, Monica. I suppose I should go get my poem now. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good.
You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good.
Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know?
I see. Well, let's read it then. I just had to scroll down and see if there's anything tricky, you know? Hole in wall. but he wasn't looking at me. Confused, I frantically glanced at my surroundings, but my burned eyes can no longer see color. Are there others in this room? Or are they talking? Or are they simply poems on flat sheets of paper, the sound of frantic scrawling playing tricks on my ears? The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic. There must be a way out. It's right there. He's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. Okay, I can't say that I really understand this one. So, hole in the wall, I mean, that's just typically a thing like you're looking in at something from an outside perspective, right? So, but he wasn't looking at me. Is that referring to me or just a random dude like in the poem? But he wasn't looking at me. Confused, I frantically glance at my surroundings. But my burned eyes can no longer see color. What are burned eyes? Are there others in this room? Are they talking? Or are they simply poems on flat sheets of paper? The sound of frantic scrawling playing tricks on my ears. The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic. There must be a way out. It's right there. He's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. I mean, yeah, I don't really know how I would interpret it much, from just like a normal metaphorical perspective. My mind is so much just on like, Monica's evil and is manipulating everything, you know, kind of deal. So maybe not evil, I'm gonna say evil, but, if we're looking at hole in the wall, so like either she's looking out at me from the game world, you know, an outside perspective, or I'm looking at her from, you know, another perspective. And the first line, I think, reinforces that second one. Hole in the wall, but he wasn't looking at me, you know? Like, I'm playing this game, but I'm not seeming to focus on her, maybe. So confused, frantically glance at my surroundings, but my burned eyes can no longer see color. I don't really know much about that. I mean, I'm just trying to think. I know we've talked about, like, different wavelengths and stuff, and that could relate to color, technically speaking, if we're talking about, like, spectrum of light. But, I don't know, I feel like that might be a bit of a stretch. Are there others in this room? Are they talking? Or are they simply poems on flat sheets of paper, the sound of frantic scrawling, playing tricks on my ears? That could be in reference to the other characters, you know, like, are they really here, or are they just kind of figments? Are they things that people created, you know? I don't know. The room begins to crinkle. I mean, that could just be said for a poem or a paper, you know, crinkle that up, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic. There must be a way out. So desperation right there. It's right there. The way out. He's right there. Me, maybe? I don't know. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. And that could even be in relation to this, brandishing my pen. That could be in relation to, like, her changing the code and everything, you know, getting rid of Sayori and all that. So maybe she did desperately want me, because I'm awesome, you know? And it seemed like she was losing that opportunity. After all, she wasn't an option for who we could impress with our poems. So, or whom we could impress with our poems, I suppose. I don't know. I'm gonna click and hope it's something bad.
So, what do you think?
It's very freeform, if that's what you call it.
Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, he can be really powerful.
What was the inspiration behind this one?
Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit.
An epiphany?
Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone's better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink.
That's true. That's true enough. I wonder if in my nervousness I'm just getting like such a dry throat and everything. I don't know. Also curious. I'm not seeing anything else in the folder, by the way. I haven't been paying too much attention to it, but just like I have it open, glancing at it now, there's nothing, so nothing that I can see.
So just move your hand and go with the flow. And that's my advice for today. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, no problem. I guess Natsuki now. I mean, because this is me maintaining the same order that I was going in initially, because initially I had Monika, Natsuki, Yuri, Sayori, so now I'm just gonna do Monika, Natsuki, Yuri. Yay, orders and stuff.
Well, it's about what I expected from someone like you.
That's a little blunt.
Well, excuse me. It's not like I said it was bad. It just didn't evoke any emotions.
So basically, it's not cute enough for your taste?
Do you want to get smacked?
I'll pass.
Well, anyway, I guess I need to show you mine. Not that you'll like it.
Okay, so it's the same thing. Eagles can fly, monkeys can climb, crickets can leap, horses can race, owls can see, cheetahs can run, eagles can fly, people can try, but that's about it.
Yeah, I told you that you weren't gonna like it.
I like it.
What? Just be honest.
I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it?
Well, because everyone in high school thinks their writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff, so people don't even take my writing seriously.
But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid.
Yes, exactly. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard. Like in this poem. Seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening. So I decided to write about it.
Yeah, I understand.
But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like I set up for a rhyme at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling in the last line.
So you did. I guess more went into it than I realized.
That's what it means to be a pro!
Yay, I'm glad you learned something.
Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you?
Yeah, I guess not. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki is feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. Yuri it is. Hey, what up, girlfriend? As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten.
Exceptional.
Huh? What was that?
Did I say that out loud?
Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face.
He's going to hate me.
You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri.
I guess you're right.
What am I getting so nervous for? Yeah, why would I hate you for you saying that my writing was exceptional? That seems like a good thing. That seems like something I might like you for. Yuri takes a breath.
So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before.
Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really.
Huh?
Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again.
Well, I know that. I just meant,
Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem, as if breaking it down more thoroughly.
Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them.
Does this mean that, like... So, you know, when I had this conversation with her before, she said the same stuff, pointing out that there were certain things typical of new writers, this heavy, like, style, how deliberate it was, you know. Does that mean that the dialogue is mostly the same, even, like, regardless of whether you make the poem that they would like the most or the least? Or is that specifically because, you know, we went through the first phase of the game with Sayori, and now we're on, like, phase 2? I don't know. I don't know.
In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are weakened.
Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert.
Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a single poem, or even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice, and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little biased, though.
Biased? How?
Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry.
It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now?
Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it.
Yuri smiles dreamily, as if that's a rare opportunity for her. Which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Okay, look, so this is the same poem, so the only poem that changed was Monika's. Right? Wait, did Monika have Hole in the Wall before? Oh shoot, what if she did? Did I just completely forget Monika's poem? Because I remember Ghost Under the Light. So when I was reading the Hole in the Wall thing, I thought I recognized bits, or it seemed familiar, but reading it through, it didn't, like, I wasn't like, oh, it's the same one, you know? But this one, it is the same one. At least based on title, let's see. Ghost Under the Light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath... Yeah, the tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe. Calm. Breathing air of the present but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. I actually don't remember the "it must be this one" line. It probably was there. I just don't really remember that. Like, I remember, you know, like the blue-green hue of the future, breathing air of the present but living in the past. I remember the flickers and flicker back thing. But yeah, Ghost Under the Light. Tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe, calm, breathing air of the present but living in the past. The light flickers, I flicker back. I don't really think I have anything more to add. You know, I tried to interpret it a little bit more before, but as with all of Yuri's things, I'm just not that... My brain isn't wired to think like that, I suppose, so I don't really know anything else, you know, like, since I last tried, so I'm just gonna click.
I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting.
What? I wasn't thinking that at all.
But it took you a long time to read.
Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty.
Huh? That's a relief. Also, I liked the poem.
That was me. Also, I liked the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive.
It wasn't too short? I usually write longer poems.
Not at all.
I'm really glad you liked it.
Or like it.
I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose.
Are you into ghosts, Yuri?
Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Riz.
Really? I must have totally missed the point.
Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts and feelings, or their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost.
What, as in like you're dead inside?
Lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past.
But what was your last remaining place of comfort? Like, I still haven't learned about that.
And soon to be left with nothing.
That's a lot more solemn putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive.
Huh? It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive too, so...
Nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you.
You think so?
Yeah, of course.
You know, I was really nervous about doing all this. But in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Riz.
Me too. Phew. I guess that's everyone. I glance around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone's judging me for my Sorry, just that off-key music. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems can stand up to theirs. This is a literature club, after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Monika is writing something in her notebook. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly.
What's with this language? Huh? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing.
Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand.
I guess you could say it's fancy. Thanks. Yours is cute.
Cute?
Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Monika liked it. And Riz did too. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Sorority isn't here to save the day. Oh no! So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me, I appreciate the offer, but I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon, unless of course I come across something particularly inspiring. Which I haven't yet. And Riz liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it.
Natsuki suddenly stands up.
Oh? I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. That's not what I... You're just...
Yuri stands up as well. This music is so, like, frivolous though, you know? This is like the mischief music.
Maybe you're just jealous that Riz appreciates my advice more than he appreciates yours. Huh? And how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. Ugh. Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Riz started showing up. Natsuki. Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. Taking out your own insecurities on others like that? You really act as young as you look. Natsuki. 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 Me? Look who's talking. You wanna be edgy? Biatch! Edgy? Sorry that my lifestyle is too much for someone of your mental age to comprehend. See? Just saying that proves my point. Most people tend to... What are you doing to me? And stop harassing others with your sickening attitude. You think you can counter... Oh, son of a gun. Just by dressing and acting cute. The only clear thing about you is how hard you try. Well, be careful, you might cut yourself on that edge, Yuri. Oh, my bad. You already do, don't you? Did you just accuse me of cutting myself? Oh, what the F is wrong with your head? Yeah, go on. Let Riz hear everything you really think. I'm sure he'll be head over heels for you after this.
Suddenly, Yuri turns toward me as if she just noticed I was standing here.
Riz, she's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it.
It's not like... So, of course... Phew! Let me select Yuri! 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 Natsuki! You did this. What is it, Monica? You have something to say to me?
Hey, Riz. Why don't we step outside for a little bit?
Okay.
Sorry about that. They really shouldn't have tried to get you involved. It's probably better for us to stay out of this. We'll go back inside once they're done yelling. Some president I am, right? I can't even confront my own club members properly. I just wish I was able to be a little more assertive sometimes. But I never have it in me to put my foot down against others. You understand, right? Anyway, if this makes you want to spend less time with the others, then that's fine. I'd be happy to spend time with you instead.
Suddenly, Natsuki runs out of the classroom. She quickly runs away.
Oh dear. Well, it looks like they're done. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
Yuri is rocking back and forth in her desk with her palms on her forehead. Yuri?
I didn't mean it.
I believe you. I have no idea what Yuri might have said to Natsuki. Or did.
Riz, please don't hate me. Please. I'm not like this. There's something wrong with me today. It's fine, Yuri. We know you didn't mean it. Besides, I'm sure Natsuki will forget all about it by tomorrow. Completely. 'Cause she'll be dead, won't she? Anyway, the meeting is over, so you can go home now if you want.
Yuri looks at me like she wants to say something, but she keeps glancing at Monika.
You can go first, Monika. I'd like to stay a little bit longer. I'm the president, so I should be the last one out. I'll wait for you to be done. Well, I'm vice president, so please let me take that responsibility today. It kind of sounds like you don't want me around for something, Yuri. It's not that. It's not that. I didn't get much of a chance to discuss my book with Riz. It would just be embarrassing with you listening. I guess I don't really have a choice, do I? I'm sorry for causing trouble, but I really appreciate—
This is... Hey! What? Monika! We were gonna talk about the book! Am I even gonna be able to finish picking a poem? Am I gonna finish making a poem? Huh, Monika? Wonderful.
Cue outro, go!